All right. So I'm so excited today and blessed to have Mike Stone as my special guest. And, when it comes to harmony power, this guy is the epitome of what that means, what he's done with his life, how he's overcome adversity. And in an era of time, let's say in the 70s, maybe 60s, 70s, that era of time, he was considered the best, the undefeated for that era of time. But the beautiful stories that he has to share about where he came from, it wasn't even martial arts, it was basketball and football. It was like a whole thing about him being bullied and going through all this adversity. I watched your video, Mike. I was just trying to get a glimpse of different things about you. And I'm like, wow, look at that history. Look at that. Look what you've done. And there's such a spiritual like undertone with you. And I just want the world to know more about you from the lens that I can see. And certainly, please just take us on a little journey here. Let's start with your childhood.
Well, I was blessed, first of all. My childhood was that I was born and raised in Hawaii, which was, and a place, if you're going to choose a place to be born, I think that's a good start. So I have no complaints about my early life. And in Hawaii, where everything is, the whole Hawaiian attitude and the time thing, Hawaiian time, you're late, everything is laid back. So there was no pressure. And I don't think too many children living there had pressure because we were free to play outside in the rain, whether it rained or whether it was sunny, it made no difference. Every day was just another day, some just different from others. So having that type of a freedom as a child, freedom is, people have a misconception. I want to start off right away with the idea called discipline, because you touched on something that's very important to me in my evolution. And people don't want to hear what I'm about to say, but that's okay. Our parents loved us. I want to believe that. I want to believe my parents loved me and my sibling. But when you're born to parents that are new parents. They are young also, maybe early 20s, maybe even younger. The young man is trying to make a living for his family. There's a particular code about work hard, sacrifice, suffer. This is what you have to do to be successful. I never bought that idea.
Mhm.
Not one moment did I believe that idea. What I came to learn, and I'm going to say this with all the respect that I have for my parents, is that although my parents did love me in the best way they could, they taught me a fear-based reality.
Mhm.
They taught me how to be afraid. And the reason they did that was out of necessity for their own peace of mind. So they taught me things that they believed, through making me afraid of it, that it would be easier to manage me, to be able to control me. So they would say things like, get down from that tree. You want to break your neck?
Mhm.
I didn't even know what a neck was at 3 years old. Don't go near the water. You want to drown? Don't touch that electric cord. You want to get electrocuted? Don't pet that dog. You want to get rabies? So all of these things was out of love to keep me safe and protect me without realizing. They created a mindset through constant repetition and using their emotionality to support that idea.
Mhm.
That stuck in my mind more than anything else. I have clients today in their 70s that have childhood fears that they never got rid of. They have no idea where it came from, and they won't ever want to admit they learned it from their family, relatives, friends, teachers, religion. So this is a major issue. When we even stop, if I may, to consider our present state, I'm talking about globally. When we look at the world around us, all we are seeing is a reflection of our education through our families, through our societies, through our communities, through our religion, through all the different aspects that we are, through social media. So it should not be a surprise to anyone to look around and see the state we are in collectively as a global community, to see that it starts off with the idea of a fear-based reality. Because what they said they're doing is they're going to teach you discipline.
Mhm.
My idea of discipline is not that it creates discipline. For most people is punishment. When we were kids, discipline is, I'm disciplining you because I want to protect you and I love you, but they're still beating the hell out of you.
Yeah, it's
So,
look, we're all
so,
been through it. Yes.
yeah, so when you're attached discipline to the physical pain or the yelling and screaming and shut up, sit down, all these kind of things, you're very confused. Discipline really is freedom. We need to appreciate that the more disciplined we are, the more free we are. And yet it's a contradiction in terminology, because freedom means we have to restrict and control. That's discipline.
Mhm.
We have to create the boundaries and the borders.
I have to agree with you very much that I too had the belief system that so we have to work so hard. I'm like, why do I have to work hard? Like what if I'm working hard, I'm doing something wrong, right? So to me, I'm working smart. And I also believe that why can't I love what I'm doing? Why do I have to suffer so much? Why is it? So even jobs that people hated, I found a way to love them, because if there were people there, there's a way to love that job that everybody hates. So it's a choice of how, what lens you want to look through. So I'm so aligned with this thinking. Too, look, my parents did the best they could, right? And discipline was physical and verbal and brutal in some respect. And I loved them for all of it. I don't, because to not love, to hate or carry this anger towards family when all they
Yeah,
knew, what they learned, it's ludicrous. It's all they knew. And
absolutely.
then I took what I did and I made my mistakes, but I was better than where I came from. And that's what it needs to be. So any young people watching and listening to what we're talking about is that if you want to hold on to bitterness towards whoever, then that's going to be your own pain and you're choosing to keep that. Or you
True.
can love where you came from and say, thank you for teaching me to find that power inside to move forward. So leadership must come from love, not fear. That's what this is the premise of what you're saying. We have to lead with love, not lead with fear. Lead ourselves with love, lead others with love. And the systems that we have everywhere, whether it's parental or education or government, if we led that way, we would be in this world that's unbelievable. And I've learned that with my business. That's the way I've run it. If I hardly ever have to discipline, you'd say, or stop something in a manner that is rough. Generally, I've only let go of in 30 years, I fired 3 people, one per decade. Companies lay people off, they fire people left and right. There's no cultivation, there's no love. There's nothing. It's empty. But we can be so different from what you're saying is what it is. So proceed, because I had to intervene with my thoughts because it's so in line with my thinking.
Well, in following that same train of thought, if we will, I came to a point in my life, I said, well, everybody has a formula. Everybody. Coca-Cola has a formula. Kentucky Fried Chicken has a formula. So everybody has a formula. Even Albert Einstein had a formula.
Mhm.
So about 25 years ago, I wanted to come up with my own formula. And what I came up with, it was a very simple, practical idea. And my formula is LET equals A. So the way this formula works is it has to be used in the correct proportion in the exact order. You cannot, LET is love, energy, and time equals A, abundance, or M, money. I prefer to use A, abundance. So when I set up this particular formula, I had come to realize that everything, as you just mentioned, starts with love. You have to start with love.
Mhm.
And I'll give you an example of how it works. If I start with loving myself in a healthy, positive way, I'm doing myself the greatest benefit. I find that human beings are looking outside of themselves for this idea called love. The minute you look outside of you into the physical world that you exist and believe that this is who you are, you're just a physical being, you're already at a tremendous disadvantage in life. So,
Yes.
but this is how you learn to live your life. You have to look outside of you. Everything that you do physically is external from you. Of course, it's outside of your body.
Mhm.
So love is the first thing. We're looking for love in all the wrong places. First of all, we're looking in the wrong direction. So love starts with you. I have found through my own, not because of any other reason, not from books that I've read, and I've read hundreds, not from anything that I've read so much as although it has influenced me in a way that only validifies and solidifies my belief system that I've come to believe. I wanted to create my own life, and I have. So it starts with love. I found out that the things we say we lack the most in life. If you talk to people, what do you need? Well, I don't have enough love. I don't have enough time. There's just not enough time.
Mm.
I don't have enough energy. When I come home from work, I have a full day. Give me the remote control. Let me sit down. Let me be by myself. Give me peace of mind for 30 minutes before you start. Daddy, give me, take me, buy me, show me. Stop. Appreciate what I've done to keep the family going. Appreciation is my number one thing. Everything is gratitude. It's if you can't start with gratitude, even love in gratitude is love. It's a part of it.
Yeah, well, gratitude is the action word, right? So to be grateful that you give, to be in gratitude to give is the
Yeah,
act of love. Like that's love in motion.
of course. So
Yeah.
the idea is love first. So I found out if I start with love, if I'm passionate, we
Mhm.
all know about passion.
Yes.
Yeah, we are so passionate about. I remember when I was a young man doing martial arts. I was so passionate, 7 days a week, 8 hours a day was what I do. Why? Because that's who I am. The
Right.
big distinction I made at an early life was that everything I extended beyond me to do physically was a big difference. And I learned this from my football coach. There's a difference between being and doing. Once he told me this, I was 15 years old. It was my junior summer. I was preparing for my senior year. He said, Mike, I want to train with you for the next 6 weeks before we start spring practice. So the first session, he's telling me about running pass patterns because that's what my position was going to be, a receiver. So he kept telling me about these things. And then I finally came back and he says, now I want you to be your best. And I heard him the first couple of times, but I thought he meant do my best.
Mhm.
Because all the other coaches I've ever had directed me to doing the physical execution, to do your best.
Yeah,
So when he said, no, there's a vast difference between being and doing. And I
absolutely.
said, I'm sorry, I don't know the difference. What do you mean?
Yeah.
He said, Mike, being is a state of mind. You create this. Doing is simply the physical act of performing. You cannot do who you're not. You can, but it's not the best you. If you want to do something, it starts with being an idea of yourself in advance. So you're prepping the physical execution by a state of mind. And he says, let me do it for you this way. This is going to be your mindset. Now, when he gave me this mindset, I'm not exaggerating. This has been the way I have thought from age 15 to the present. I do not have a day go by where I don't say this out loud as well. He said, Mike, always be your best. That was our thing. Always be your best. Not do your best, not try, not work hard, not suffer, not sacrifice, none of those things. If you be an idea of yourself, then you already it. There's nothing to become. You're not becoming, you're not evolving. Why? because every day that you believe this idea, in the moment you conceive of yourself in a particular way, in that moment, universally speaking, you already are that idea. There's nothing ever to become. Once I understood that, everything I have ever done in my life physically was at a much higher level than the vast majority of the world's population. Why? I started off with an idea before ever thinking about what I had to learn, technique to do. That's irrelevant. It doesn't matter the technique. The mindset creates the quality. It's your thinking that creates the quality. And if you are that idea, not ever trying to become a separate idea, someday, you know, if I work real hard, if I suffer and sacrifice, if I really dedicate myself, why wouldn't you now? At what point in the future will you have an understanding? Oh, if I did it now, I'll become better. No, in the moment you are is your greatest opportunity
Yes.
to be this idea.
Yes. And I have to say, it makes me think like when I'm teaching with students, I'm always about, you need to do it right now. But no, not 3 years from now. One day when you get there, it's now. Can you see it? Let's go. Let's do it right now. I can't begin to tell you how many times the moments that they think whatever they thought was impossible, all of a sudden they're doing it in the moment. It's like they see themselves there. And I said, that's the human struggle. People cannot see where they really want to be. Once you are in the being state, you're maximizing the experience in every given moment. And that's what I'm right on that page. Like I live, eat, and breathe that. It's like my father said to me, my first teacher of 26 years, it's competing with yourself. That's the competition. Like the excitement of going into a workout. Okay, I know what I did before, but that was before. There's a new day today. And I'm going to have the best experience of my life right now. The best experience of my life. If my body needs to heal more in that training, I'll focus on the healing. Maybe I'm not feeling well. If I want to be stronger in that workout, I want to be faster in that workout. But I'm going on a journey of myself. This is where people are not thinking. They're too busy looking externally, like you said, and they're not internal in the experience. And they're wondering, well, how come I'm not getting better? Because you're not internal. You're too busy comparing. There's no way to go with that.
John, I don't mean to interrupt you, but you know, I think we're thinking so much alike that as you talk, I am reliving. You know, I understand everything that you're saying.
Yeah.
But we need to have an understanding, not between you and I, because I think we do understand. We're talking about people out there that we're talking to. If we can help them have a better understanding, a better appreciation for who they presently are, that
Exactly.
they're totally capable within themselves in this moment.
Yeah.
There is nothing they can't be, do, or have. But to have a mindset, you have to change. If you want to change the quality of your life, you have to change the quality of your thinking.
And the
And
words.
we have forgotten so much that everything that we believe and think and feel about our external world was taught to us.
Yes.
You know, when you're an infant, up until the first 5 years or so, everything you watch expressions, you don't even know the language you're supposed to learn.
No.
You can't speak the language, but you can see facial expressions, mannerisms, body positioning. You can see when someone's angry, happy, joyful, disgusted, frustrated. So I'm not blaming. I'm just saying that if we're going to change the world, we have to start with ourselves. Each person, don't listen. Yes. Do I say don't care about anybody? Of course not. I'm not saying that. But my true love and caring about everyone is to take care of myself first. Why? When I do that, I have nobody to complain. What I do now, and I don't do it, I'm not saying it, I'm saying it as an example. If I'm like everybody else, my first gut reaction, knee jerk, is to find somebody to blame. It's not my fault.
Well, it's
And you're right.
judgment, right? So it's the self-judgment, judging myself, judging others, and then judging how they judge me. Like all of that negativity, all of that perception that needs to change. It's about this self-love, like loving yourself exactly where you are.
Yes.
Once you know
And
what
it's
you
not
are,
about, yeah, and it's not even about, to say fault. It's nobody's fault.
right?
We need to appreciate its choices that we all make.
Yes,
Our life is a gift.
yes,
We have been given only two gifts in our life, John. Two: life and free will to choose our experiences. Other than that, every human being has absolutely nothing. The rest of it is going to be based on what you choose, experience, and then decide from those experiences you've had and chosen, who am I in relationship to that experience? You're choosing, you're deciding, I like this, I'll choose it again.
right.
What we do as human beings is we pick the most negative choice and choose that to repeat over and over again.
And even worse than that is people choose people that don't choose them and want to know why they're miserable. You call someone, they don't call you back. Well, they're not calling you back. There's your message. They're not interested in calling you. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. Choose people who choose you.
Yes.
Simple as that.
And
It's not
again, if I can get off on another tangent here,
my
but
idea. It's choices, right?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, but it's along the same idea.
Yeah.
It's just it's like people want so much to be loved. Loving yourself on that level is choosing those that choose you. That the relationship is an energetic exchange. So if my energy is going forward, but I'm not feeling the energy coming back, whatever that looks like, why am
Yeah.
I in that energy field? I'll just shift in a different direction. The world's way too vast, way too many options to waste my time with those who want to waste my time. Simple as that. And like you said, the choices, right? So if I'm in a relationship with somebody and they choose things that I don't necessarily agree with, well, they're not wrong. I just don't agree with it. So I can either continue that relationship or I'm going to detour and have a different experience. All of it's beautiful. And the fact that we feel obligated in family dynamics or obligated in relationships that are destructive, this obligation is also a choice, as you're saying. These are choices. We all have the power of choice in all of that.
Yeah. One of my heroes that have become a hero of mine, I was never good in high school or elementary school. I was a poor student, actually pretty much a failing student.
Mm.
If it wasn't for a friend I had in high school that helped me with my term papers, I probably would have never graduated from high school. It was only my athletic ability that kept me afloat.
Yes, what a beautiful story. Yeah,
Yeah, but we have this idea, if I may share with
please.
you, is that um, I got to read about this one guy that I thought was fascinating. Now, I came to believe, I think like most people on the planet, that the smartest person on the planet was Albert Einstein.
Mhm.
This was the general consensus. Now,
Mhm.
it became that way because society or the people in power wanted us to believe that he was the major contributor in science. So they put everything on him. But in truth, and we are learning it now only, Nikola Tesla is the true genius of our time. Now, let me go back and say something. About 35 years or so, I read a quote from Nikola Tesla, and he said this, and he helped to solidify a mindset I already had from Jimmy Grigg, my high school coach: always be your best. His quote was, if I want to find the secrets to the universe, all I have to do is think about energy, frequency, and vibration. Because he said everything in the universe is energy. Then his friend said that. Albert Einstein said everything is energy.
Mm.
So Nikola Tesla said, if I want to find the secrets to the universe, he's telling me, not my petty, simple, stupid life. To find the secrets to the universe, all I have to do is think in terms every day that everything is vibrating at a different frequency of energy. And that the frequency of energy that anything vibrates at is its definition. the vibratory frequency, the energy composition of any object, of every object in the universe, every object vibrates at a particular frequency. The frequency of that object that vibrates is its definition and identity. It is vibrating no matter what the composition of the object is. The combination of the different frequencies, that overall, this table, my glasses, the cup, everything.
It's all,
Now,
yeah, it's all
I'm
has,
sorry,
everything has life,
everything is energy.
right?
Everything is alive that way. But if we say life, people will make it physical life.
You think it has to have a heart, right? Exactly.
Right. Yeah. So this whole idea, once I took that idea
Yeah.
and I just focused on it for a couple of weeks, that everything I looked at, every person I looked at, I became obsessed with the idea that that person, the way they talk, look, dress, behave, everything about them collectively at however old they are in this moment. Right now, I am at 82, a combination of all of my life from when I was born to this point. I've made many changes, but this is the verdict, or this is the outcome of my choices throughout 82 years. It's this version of myself. I'm not satisfied with it. I've come a long way. I still believe I have so much more to go. I can become a better version of this idea, because I've accepted the responsibility that this idea is mine, 100%. Nobody. Now I can go back and blame my parents. I can do all of the things. No,
It's all you. Yep. We own everything.
I'm sorry.
I agree. We own all of that. Like no matter what we experience, we are choosing at every point of it on how we want to deal with it. We're choosing.
The problem is, John, the vast majority are not owning it. They are not accepting 100% responsibility for the choices, the outcomes, the results, especially the consequences. They want nothing to do with consequences in their life.
Mhm.
So if you have to stop lying to yourself also, brother.
Well, you have
You
to.
the first person you lie to every day is you. You have to stop that.
That's right.
You cannot progress to the best version of yourself in this world unless you change everything that's negative about you. Now, does that mean they're going to say, well, Mike, I mean, nobody's perfect? I'm not talking about perfection.
No.
We didn't come to this world to be perfect. We were perfect before we came here. We were created of love and light. In that realm of creation, we were flawless. We were perfect. We came here to find out who we are not to find out who we are. By our choices, we're learning this is not me. That's not me. I'm not like that. No, that's stupid. That's crazy. I'm not like that. So all you're doing is you're throwing away things that you say, you're discarding ideas that people give you. Well, this is who you are. No, I'm not like that. So it's not a matter of accepting. You're throwing everything away. The worst thing is all of your choices here is for you to change. You were perfect. You were created perfect in the likeness and image of a creator, not the creator, a creator. Pick one.
But
Whoever you be.
Here's my thought. What we
Yeah.
perceive this negative aspect of our being, let's say just whatever it might be, we're not patient or we're yelling, whatever it is we have, that's the inner struggle, the challenge, let's say, is I tell people that whether it's an emotional pain or physical pain, that we are needing to deal with on some level. If we can avoid it, we can pretend it's not there, we can accept it, we can embrace it. And when we embrace it, we can now realize that this is the opportunity to find a deeper love state within ourselves by taking the courage to deal with what that is. And that the help is within us, it's around us, to guide us to find out what that is. And that is the whole quest of being human. That's when you quench the spiritual thirst. That's how you rise to a higher level in our own being. So what you're saying to me is everything of what this is about. So for me, when for myself, and there's an excitement of looking at myself and going, what can I do to be better? What about me needs to change? You know, if the way you know is say, well, am I happy? Like really happy? And you're like, well, I'm happy with this, but I'm not. Well, then there you go. That's where you need to look. You know, I know myself right now, like what things I need to work on. I'm working on more patience. I'm working on, like we talked about, the Filipino culture. I learned from you with that. And I learned the beauty of that culture, and the beauty of like just, it's like an unveiling of another being open to what's not you. And can you love that? Can you love something that's just not you? And if you can embrace that idea, you can really enjoy being in a foreign land.
Oh,
But
yes. Yeah, your heart. Listen, the geographic location is important. I'm not saying choosing a physical location is not important. It is.
yeah,
But more than that, if you already know who you are, you take this being with you to any location on the planet and you'll be just fine.
in bliss, right? Because you know who you are. It's like
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
the most important thing.
when I went to the Philippines the first time, I had a blast getting to know the police, getting to know the hotel staff, buying them Starbucks. Within a day or two, I had already created my village. Like within a day or two, like I was ready. So I'm ready. Let it go have fun.
Yeah,
Knowing people's names and waving at them, and it's that, like, that's the world, and that's anywhere you go. You want love, give love everywhere you go.
true.
It's a beautiful world. And I think that's where a lot of us are lost. You know, I think I love my business in the Upper West Side of Manhattan. I love that area. But you walk down the street and so many people can't even make eye contact. And
Yeah,
it's sad to me because the wealth and the success is a separation for them, instead of it being a connection to humanity. If you have that kind of success, you should be embracing every human walking by. Like you care about, you should be wanting to give more than versus separate yourself from what is out there. I mean, with my client base, and this, they're beautiful souls. They're ultra successful and very giving, and some are come from nothing. I have a mix there, and that's what it's about. Like people don't realize, like you want the joy, give it, give it, give it to yourself, give it to others, make those choices. That's all it is. It's really simple, and everybody complicates it. And everyone's pointing the finger in the other direction. So you're hitting a lot of you're hitting me deep here with this conversation. Yeah.
It's in the book in fact, my book has been published already by Amazon. But when they sent me, I ordered 50 author copies.
Mhm.
I just received it about a week or so ago.
What's the name
I,
of the?
I'm sorry.
You said your book. What's the name of
Yeah,
your book?
it's a new book I just came out with, and this book is the 40 years of my creating this lifestyle. It's called the Warrior Lifestyle.
Beautiful. That's what I want to know. Yeah, so that people watching this, they know to look for it, right, on Amazon.
But I have to say something in advance. I was not happy with the way that they took what we did, and in printing the copy, that printing was horrible.
Mm.
Absolutely horrible. So the 50 copies that they sent me, I'm sending it back. I won't give these book away. That's how bad they were, as far as I'm concerned. The
Okay.
quality of the cover, the inside, the pages, a lot of the things. Now, I just heard recently that Amazon had fired over 30,000 people globally. Now, by doing that, something's going to suffer, and maybe printing was a part of it, because the printing. Now, I did 5 books with them. I have no problem with the other 4. This book was horrible. So I'm sending them all back unless they're done right. Never mind if you just look at the cover, but the cover is a representation of who I am. And I was so disgusted, I contacted them immediately and said, I'm sending back the 50 copies, and do not sell another one until these things, these 4 or 5 things, are corrected in the book. Until then, don't sell. I don't want it out there. And even some people had already bought it. When they contacted me, they were nice enough not to tell me the issue that I already knew it was. And I said, listen, if you bought a copy, I know it's probably crap. So let me do this. When we reprint them, and it's up to my standard, I will be more than happy to give you another copy. Don't buy another copy. I will give you a copy to make up for the one that you bought that was horrible. Because I won't even give these copies away. I can't in
Well,
true spirit.
you should
But
think
in
about
this book,
you should think
in
about
this book,
audio. You're doing audio with the way that you speak. You should do an audio version and worrying about whether they print it right or not.
yes, we're going to do that
Right.
as well.
I think that's
A couple different versions of it.
yeah.
But in this book, chapter 1 is the most important. It's about what's called universal intelligence. It's about how you can create miracles. Now, I've created 3 or 4 miracles in my lifetime. And it's miracles not based on what I say, because as far as what I've done as a miracle is the most natural thing I could ever do. These miracles are from other people's perceptions of what I have accomplished, not what I think I've done.
Yes.
I still think I've done absolutely nothing. What I did is absolutely natural. It is within my definition of who I am. So it's nothing outside of myself. So I never had to look to be my best. You're talking about that. My instructor said right away, you don't create opponents. Why would you go into a fight and tell yourself before, I have to hate this guy. I don't like him because of the patch. I don't like him because of his system. I don't like him because of his color. Whatever reason, that's nonsense. You're fighting yourself the whole time. Why give energy into a match to your opponent that you don't even know? And if you beat him, you'll have a new guy come in. So I've had 92 different people confront me, and I've never lost. I don't have a second place trophy. I don't know what it is to lose. Why? I'm not a winner. I'm not a winner. That's not who I am. But I am who I am. Socrates said, know thyself. People don't know who they are. If you did, you might really like the results of who you are. And you might live up to it. Not because you have to, because that's who you are. It's intrinsic within you already to think a certain way, to believe, to act, to behave. All of this is not something you have to check on yourself, like, oh, I wonder if I'm doing the right thing. No, I'm doing the best that I can. When? Now. And that's all there is. Every now that comes up in this moment, if something comes up, I will think about it in advance. Can I be a better version? Now, if I have to choose, what do I choose? The higher self. I choose the best version of me. So it's easy to do. And everybody thinks it's such a difficult thing or it's such hard work and you have to. No, you don't have to. If you understand how the universe works, not you, not your country, not your government, not your family.
Let me
And how the universe.
just for a moment, because you triggered the thought. It's easy to do when you're not competing with other people in your mind. If you're just competing with you, it's easy to say, okay, I want to go to this next level because that's easy. Now you're not judging, you're not worried about what other people think. You're just where you are and you're on that journey. Once a person sees that's what it is, it's now easy. Now it's a joy. You're in the
Yeah.
joy, you're in the play of life. You're in that passion. So that's where I think it's only difficult because in your mind, you've got the self-judgment, you've got the judgment of others, you've got this competition thing. It's what we've been taught. But once you're shown this focus that you're talking about,
Yes.
this is ease. I go into training. What's hard to me is easy. It's just breath.
And if I may, I trust me when I tell you, I'm not trying to contradict you.
No, I'm in agreement with
I
you.
just want to maybe give you another perspective on what you just.
No, I'm in agreement with you. I'm in agreement with you. I'm just taking what you're saying and I'm going in a different place, but it's in the same thing you're saying. It's not we're in the same focus. Yeah.
But it's not even, again, if I may, please. It's not about I am countering myself. I'm not fighting myself.
Right.
Once you know who you are, not even you become in opposition. So not even you is that I have to fight myself. I'm competing. Not even that I do.
Yes.
I don't even do that. I don't want to. I don't want to have a dispute or me being in opposition to who I am. So I don't even compete with myself. That would be probably the worst thing.
Mm.
So instead of competing with myself, I simply absorb the idea and become an idea of myself instantaneously. There is no conflict. What's really happening, if I may, John, with all respect, is that this is really the situation we have come up against, that we're using ourself as the obstacle to overcome. Okay, I won't compete against somebody else. They don't tell me who I am, but now I have to compete with myself. The last person you ever want to compete with is you. Allow these two words, willingness and allowance. Be willing to allow yourself to be the best version of yourself. I don't ever want to compete against me. Why? I know what a tough competitor I am.
It
And
depends
I don't want that to be a challenge.
it depends on if you're competing yourself from a place of where it's just pure ego, or you're competing yourself with the joy and the excitement of being better than you were before. So if I'm striving in the moment to do
Yeah.
push-ups or whatever it is to do, but I'm not obsessed with the outcome, I'm in the joy of whatever it might look like. So I'm like, okay, if I'm doing
If
less,
you are, John,
right.
there is no competition. There is no ego. By that time, you will have dissolved that to a point of understanding that ego and pride was my worst enemy. And that is fighting against yourself. So be willing to let that go also. So not even that becomes an issue with you to deal with yourself. Let that go.
No, I can
Just
see
a
that.
thought.
I can, no, listen, I could see that perception completely. But I do believe that when I use the word competition, it's not in as much of the ego state as you're saying. I don't look at it from that obsessive, like, oh, I didn't do it today, I'm having a bad class. No, there is no bad class. Everything's great. It's more like I didn't get to this next level next time. I enjoyed this time. So it's always joy for me in that perspective. But from the competitive perspective, when you speak of competition, you're talking about that fierce, well, ego, this is how it's got to be. On that level, I agree with you. When people come from that place, it's a self-destructive idea.
Yes.
Yep, I do. It's like they never feel like they're good enough because they're always competing with themselves or others or both for that matter.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
But anyway, in this book, the first chapter deals with universal intelligence.
Mhm.
And the reason I focus so much on this, and in this first chapter, the basic premise is there are 7 basic questions that comprises our humanity. Now, when I was a younger guy, people talked about, the 5 questions. Who am I? Where do I come from? Why am I here? What is the meaning to life? And what is my purpose for existence? I have expanded those 5 to 7 questions because I have come to realize that the first 3 questions, that we don't have any idea about that first 3 questions, is because who am I? We have no idea. Where do we come from? We have no idea. What happens to me during my transition from my spiritual creation to my physical birth in the world of relativity? We have no idea. Why? Because in that realm of our creation, we were not physical beings. We were spiritual beings before we were ever born into the physical world of relativity. Even my creator realized that when he created me in his likeness and image, he realized immediately, in this realm of my creation and existence, I can never know myself because I can never have a physical experience of who I am. Therefore, he created the heavens and earth as the place, a template, as a place in which I will have an opportunity to discover, to remember who I am, that I am love and light. Now, it came to such a point in me putting this book together over the last 40 years that I just happened upon something that about 3 months ago, the reason why I never completed the book, there was always something about the book that I felt was incomplete. And the incompleteness of this book revealed itself to something I have no understanding about. It's called quantum entanglement. It's about consciousness. Once I understood that, I realized I had already incorporated the physics of quantum entanglement in the 7 questions that I have. And I explained it in detail. And I just happened upon it one day in explaining it and realized, wait a minute, this is quantum entanglement, where a particle splits and both particles have the same energy, the same identity instantaneously, regardless of the time and distance between them.
Mhm.
And one of the quantum laws in quantum mechanics is that through observation, that's one of the important laws about quantum entanglement. And I've been using it for years without understanding that this was the law that I could not fit into my understanding because I had known nothing about physics. Once I understood that, I started asking questions about physics and people talking about quantum entanglement. There, I now have it. I had to edit this book and put it in the first chapter. Why? Because unbeknownst to me, this law that I had already stated and had integrated as part of the 7 questions of understanding who you are was the law of observation, and that the spirit or the soul aspect of us is not joining us throughout our life. That our spirit or soul is an observer of our choices. And that's the connection in quantum entanglement.
Well, it's the merge of spirituality and science, right? It's pure
Yes,
science, right?
yes,
And
yes.
in the observer, it's interesting when you talk about the observer, and that's a very big part of the spiritual space I've been in, is when your emotions are connected to something, whatever that, let's say it's the holiday, you're getting sad, you're getting depressed, you're taking things personally, you're in your emotional body. But when you become the observer, you go into the higher self and you're looking down, looking
But
at,
it's vice versa.
right.
If I may interrupt you, John,
Please.
it's vice versa. Now, the spiritual aspect of our creation, which is my soul or spirit,
Mhm.
it decided not to join me in the physical world of my existence. So when we talk about our humanity, there's 3 aspects that make up our total humanity as a human being collectively. We have a spiritual quality, we have a mind and a body. The spiritual quality, the essence of our creation, did not join us into the physical world of experience. But the mind body are the 2/3 of our humanity that came into the physical earth and the world to have an experience. Otherwise, we could never know ourselves. We needed to have an experience of who we are.
So this is something that your own personal discovery.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it's an
But
interesting.
I will let me do you a favor. I don't want to bore your audience or the people that we're sharing with. They might already be going, what
Yeah.
the hell is this guy talking about? He's just so
Listen,
far off in the deep end.
no, I don't listen. I look at it this way. I think we're at a point in time that if somebody takes, look, I studied spiritual development. I got my master's in that, and I learned nothing. In other words, it's infinite. I learned it. I learned a lot, but it was like there's so much to learn, and it's important to listen to different belief systems and different experiences, so that if somebody takes a little piece of what you're saying, it might give them some direction they didn't have before. So I feel like we need to become open to, as when Leo Fung is, that's our mutual friend. He said to me, he's a, Christian. He's like, it's a spoken attire, John. It's just a spoken attire. So all these ideas are like these spokes in a tire. So I find it interesting, the things you're saying and your perspective, because I believe there's a truth value to all of it. There's a truth.
Well, let me do this if it's okay with you, John. Let me send you the first chapter of the book.
You're most welcome to.
I'll,
Yeah.
I'll make a copy and I'll send you the first chapter of the book. And the reason I want to only do that, and I don't mean only in a limited sense, if you cannot get past the first chapter, throw away the rest of the book.
Right. It's the prelude. Yeah.
It is the foundation of everything I can tell you about your spiritual connection to everything, your worldly experiences, your choices, everything about who we are as human beings are going to be found in this first chapter. The 7 questions, first of all, is everybody needs to, and I don't mean it in a demanding way that it's compulsory. I don't mean need to, like I'm giving you an order. It would be wise if everybody reads the first chapter of this book and you don't have to go any further. Now, if you go to the other 8 levels, it's 9 levels of power. The first chapter is the first level. The first level sets the tone, the foundation, the understanding, the reality of that 7 questions. You will know who you are and why you've never chosen this as a choice. It'll be in the first chapter. So I'll send you the first chapter, and I would like to have any feedback. I mean, you can say anything you want about it. I want you to read it. Please take your time, digest the information. Most importantly, anything you come up against that you read that is contradictory to your present belief system, ask yourself, is this true? Is what Mike is saying, is it true? Then go back through your own life and go as far back as you can and realize every decision I have ever made is my choice, not my fault.
No, that's how I see it.
I
Yeah.
made.
Yeah. That's been how I've had a lot of spiritual experiences, which I will not get into in this
Yes.
exchange, which what people would say is spiritual to me, to me everything was very physical, even though it was spiritual, like
Yeah.
things that I heard, like all kinds of things. It's all very real to me. So I find that there's a truth value to all these things. Like every religion out there, there's a truth value to Jesus, to Buddha, to Muhammad, to all these people.
Absolutely.
And that's why they came into this reality. So the fact that as we said before, people are competing with belief systems, they're hurting each
This is why in the first part of the book, Johnny, if I may, I make a disclaimer. This book is not about any religion. I am not talking about any particular belief, dogma, system.
It's like a spiritual philosophy. It's a spiritual philosophy. It's a spiritual understanding of the human experience, the experience prior to where we're going. It's a spiritual philosophy. I think
Yeah.
that
So it's not about a religion. I'm not talking about any religion.
no,
I'm talking about our spiritual connection to everything,
yeah.
whether it's a religious context, as far as how we believe the world started, or if it's a scientific belief about the Big Bang. I'm not really choosing, but it is important that we have an understanding of how the universe works. So my lifestyle, the way I've changed my life completely is I live what I consider a warrior lifestyle. I am not afraid to fight. That is not my purpose. My purpose is to love. Why? Because that's who I am. I am love and light. That is the essence of my creation. I have forgotten that. And in the first chapter, I explain how we chose to forget that we are love and light, and how in our physical experiences, we are going to remember. That's why most religions call it remembrance.
Mhm.
It's reconnecting to the spiritual origin of our creation.
Well,
I'm not talking about religion.
it's the analogy is the born again Christian faith, right? They become born again through Jesus' love and light. Jesus comes into their life, they're born again. They suddenly connect to that love and light, which who they are. They don't realize that this catalyst they're using is who they are. If God is in you and God is around you, then Jesus is in you and around you. It's all the one and the same. It's an infinite. This is all very infinite to me. It's all connected.
Yes.
Just
And
saying,
again, that's the reason, John. I think you're absolutely right. I think we can split hairs here if
right?
we wanted to.
Yeah,
We could split hairs and we can do it all day long, and it would be senseless for us to do that. So
well,
you have a particular belief system based on your life experiences, and every one of those I cannot deny. They're valid because they're yours. So within the context of your experiences in life, you're going to pull from the fabric of that all the ideas that are in harmony and balance with your current belief system, because
that's,
that's how you derived at that.
that's
I
right.
have no problem with any of that.
No, what I'm saying is, I think that your chapter is something that when it's funny when all those books have come back to you, there's a reason. And what I was
Yeah,
going to say is that the reason may be is to release the first chapter to the world. And
yes,
the world see it, not just me. Put
yeah,
it online as a link somewhere, and people can go to it and let them give you feedback, not just me. Let
yeah,
them give you feedback, and that's a prelude to putting the book out again. So it might give you information that was missing before you
yes.
full on release again. Is my that's my intuitive my intuition is telling you that.
Well, I will take your advice because I think that's a very wise thing for me to do.
Yeah,
I'm not giving away anything. The first chapter is really, for me, it is the book in essence. Now there's other 9 levels, there's other 8 levels throughout the chapter. I talk about fear, hatred, envy, jealousy. So there's the other things that we have to deal with as human beings. But I'm glad I had a chance to talk with you because I will take your advice. I'm going to release the first chapter of the book, and I'm going to keep putting it out until people say, okay, I got it or read the first chapter. But just for them to start, if they like it, if there's something about it they recognize within themselves about what they read,
right.
then, and if they don't
No,
share it.
no,
Very
but
simple.
think about it. It just a little bit you stated gives me an idea of what that first chapter is. That in itself is life altering for anyone to understand.
It
That
is.
understanding I get because I'm already in that thought process. Majority of us are not even there. So the
Yeah,
world is so they got so far to go. But if you get them with the simplicity of that, it changes the whole world. And then
absolutely.
they learn all the other things you're talking about. It's like if you
Well,
teach
they've already experienced all the other things, and that's
right,
what they need
right,
to put.
yeah. So you're just getting them down to the core of their soul.
We're
This
trying to simplify, right?
right, you got it. The more you can dumb it down, the more you can simplify. I know when I spent time with Leo Fong, that was the one thing he loved about me is that he would show me something. And, we don't have to do all of that. Let's just do this,
Yes.
right? So if it's just
I'm
a
really glad I had a chance to talk with you. I thank you so much for opening up and for allowing me this opportunity to share something with you. So I think it's a major leap forward in what we can do in helping other people with it. So thank you very much.
oh, listen, and that I look, I connected with you to give you this special award, and I'll send it to you. But it states on here, this award, you've been awarded for your dedication, commitment, and outstanding efforts in promoting harmony in the world, which is exactly what you're trying to do right now. So
Thank you.
up like you overcoming adversity and all that stuff with your childhood. It's all beautiful, but right now at 82, you're this is the pinnacle of your life. This means more than being this undefeated fighter
For
in the
sure.
70s. That was just, you know what that was? That was just letting the world know, oh, this is Mike Stone. That was it. That was kind of like this is the outside of Mike Stone, but what's the inside of Mike Stone? So my fascination, why I've connected so well with your circle of friends was not just because I was a Reebok athlete and all that. That was kind of like why they got to know me, but I was interested in what's their internal work, right? So, all right, so I know you can knock somebody out very quickly. So, and where's it going to go? Like what? Because then today's generation is always a new one with big ears now. They got big ears and they're beating each other up. So I'm like, so they're fighting with themselves later on. They can't walk, they can't talk. I don't know where it's going.
That's right.
The internal stuff, the soul, like what that's the true warrior, the one that is connecting deeper inside themselves. And that's what you're trying to, and now you're trying to share it with the world, which is beautiful. So yeah, you have me at a hello when you said that. I'm like, of course, of course. Put that link out there. I'll be the first one to read it, give you my feedback, and you circulate it. You circulate it everywhere because the world needs that kind of information right now.
Yes. Thank you very much. Yeah, John, thank you so much.
Yeah.
So you've
Yeah.
been a big help.
It's a great blessing. And I want to thank you for being on my show. Thank you for being on this Harmony Power segment. It's a great honor.
You know, when I'm not hunting or scoping for another interview with you, but after you read the chapter, good or bad, I think we should come on and discuss it together.
Oh, no, this is the beginning of a friendship here. We're
Yeah.
we're just in the beginning.
Yeah,
And
great,
this
great. Love to
conversation
hear
is
it.
that friends, so that, you know, when I talk to people, if I feel that, you know, obviously there's a soul connection, but certainly if I feel like I'm growing, it's a different thing. I'm growing too.
Yes,
To you, it's I'm not this person that I know nothing, and that's the place I come from. But I've learned something along the way,
yes.
and
We all, yeah.
yeah, that's the whole thing. So thank you so much.
Absolute joy. Absolute joy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Aloha.
Aloha.